Indeed, I know I could. Good evening, everybody. It's good to see your faces coming on the screen. Just a word about this song as we get started. This song is called This Joy. It's by Shirley Caesar, although I learned it from a recording of the Resistance Revival chorus. And I've been thinking about the idea of joy a lot recently, partially because things have felt hard and anxious, at least in my own brain right now. And I always think back to actually what was a Sanctuary Boston pivotal moment for me. It was the day after the Boston Marathon bombings and the Sanctuary Boston Band. We were having our rehearsal in the space at Arlington Street Church where we could look out onto the course. And I remember we were rehearsing some song, and it was really energetic and upbeat. And after it, I said, this feels like too happy. Is it okay for us to be happy? Can we be happy when it's this? And Matt, in his wisdom, which he has a lot of, said something I still think of however many years later, which is that happiness is different from joy. That happiness is an emotional state that's maybe fleeting, that might have a lot to do with what's going on in the world outside us. And that joy is something deeper and something that can be cultivated regardless of what's going on. So I think about that a lot, and it's something that I'm consciously cultivating in my life right now. And this song helps. My housemate Courtney and I have been bopping around the apartment singing it since we heard it first a few weeks ago. So I invite you to join in as you get it, and know that it's always accessible to us and always needed, especially when it might feel hardest or least accessible. This joy that I have, the world didn't give to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Let's try that again. Can somebody paste the lyrics into the chat, please? Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this strength that I have, this strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this strength that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this love that I have, this love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this love that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this pride that I have, this pride that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this pride that I have, the world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this peace that I have, this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this peace that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this joy that I have, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give didn't give it. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. One more time. The world didn't give it. The world can't take it away.
Yes, yes, what a gift, Joe. It's a good time to be remembering that joy goes deeper than the day-to-day ups and downs of the headlines and the news cycle. This next song was written by Bernice Johnson Regan, who was one of the freedom singers, one of the SNCC freedom singers, traveling all over the country raising money and support for the civil rights movement. And she wrote this song when she was inspired by a poem of June Jordan by the same name, "We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For." And that poem was written to honor the women of South Africa protesting against the apartheid regime. There were laws passed in South Africa requiring men of color to carry passbooks, to carry identification with them at all times. When that law was extended to include the women rose up in such numbers and such ferocity that they became significant leaders in the movement in a whole new way and stayed involved until eventually we know that it was won. But it was a long, long journey. So I invite you, in this edited version, there's 3 parts that we'll do, so you can sing any one of them or go ahead and make up your own and try out some new parts as well. We are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we've been waiting. Part 2. We are the ones, we've been waiting. We are the ones, we've been waiting. Part 3. We are the ones we've been waiting for. 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 We are the ones we've been waiting. 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 We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for.
Thank you, Matt. Before we light our chalice, we're going to take just a moment to get grounded. I invite you to sit or lay or stand in a way that feels supportive and comfortable for your body. If there's tension in your body that you can release, try releasing it. We're going to take 3 intentional, fuller breaths. One more. Know that right now there is, for this moment, nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to be doing, nothing else you need to give your attention to but this moment. We'll light our flaming chalice with these words from Reverend Kimberly Quinn Johnson. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. If you have a chalice or a candle at home, you're welcome to light it now.
At every sanctuary gathering, we light the flaming chalice as a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. And I think it's worth mentioning every now and then that unlike some religious symbols that are created in a space of worship or created, I don't know, in the cloisters of a monastery or maybe in a committee meeting, and then they're brought out into the world. The chalice, the flaming chalice of Unitarian Universalism, went the other way. It was created as a symbol for the Unitarian Service Committee when they needed something to put on their paperwork, their false documents, their forged legal papers that they were using to try and get refugees out of Nazi Germany and out of Europe. And they were trying to save lives by smuggling people and smuggling children across borders. And so they created this symbol as a symbol for the light of freedom, the light of truth and connection. And then it was only after that that it was brought from out into the world by the justice makers, by the organizers, back into the places of worship. That to connect back to that way of remembering that our spiritual life doesn't just happen on the inside, but it's out there also. And so we're beginning our 4-part series on kindling the flame with our worship this evening. And our next 3 services will explore warmth and light and darkness and the beauty of all of those and the gifts we have to give each other, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. And so it's fitting, I think, to this worship in particular to remember where this flaming chalice comes from and what a gift it is. My name is Matt Meyer, and I'm the Director of Community Life for Sanctuary Boston. It's good to be with you all. Sanctuary Boston is a community of vibrant worship and real connection. And we often say that sanctuary is something that we can find in ourselves, and it's also something we create for each other. and that the name is deeply rooted in those two truths. And I think tonight, as much as any worship we've had, I'm really holding both of those. I've been anxious today. I've felt it in my chest. I felt it in my stomach. I've felt it in my foggy brain trying to make sense of what is happening out in the world and also in my internal world. And so breathing deeply, taking the few moments of stillness that Joe led us in and the time that we have together tonight to focus our attention within and around us is such a valuable way to remember that sanctuary is something that is already inside of us if we can breathe deep and attend to it. And also by being in community, sanctuary is something we can offer each other, something we create for each other whenever we gather. And so thank you for not just coming to sanctuary this evening, but thank you for being sanctuary for this evening at least. We invite you to stay connected with our community if you're visiting or new to us by following us on Facebook or signing up for the email list. We also, as a way of going deeper and making those connections, are doing a survey of all of our community. So if you have just joined us in the last few months, we invite you to consider filling out our fall survey. You can do that by contacting us through the sanctuary email address. All of that is being shared in the chat box now. A few more logistics about service this evening. As I mentioned before, we are recording. So if you'd rather not have your face shared on YouTube later, you can always turn off your camera. Although we do hope that if you're comfortable with it, you leave the camera on so we can see your beautiful smiling faces. We recommend the gallery view because seeing all of your faces and interacting with each other through the celebration of hands or smiles or tears or whatever it is you're bringing tonight is part of the gifts we have to offer. And while everyone is muted, we certainly invite you to sing along at home, even though we can't hear each other. That doesn't mean we can't sing together. It doesn't mean we can't breathe together. And so please sing and participate in whatever way feels good for you. The lyrics and order of service are also being shared in the chat box. Joanna and I, as we were putting together this evening's worship gathering, we're talking about what it means to gather and have some space aside from the world and also in the world at the same time to hold that balance. And we know that there might be political updates happening even as we're here for worship together. If there's some like major political updates that happen during worship, please send a note to Joanna or I, and we'll share it verbally with the community if there's big news. If there are small news or little updates, we're going to ask that you not share political conversation or election updates in the chat box. Separately, we will have a time, as always, in joys or sorrows, where we'll invite you to bring in the full spectrum of what is on your hearts, including the ups and downs of this election week. But other than that, please refrain from sharing political updates in the chat box as we're worshiping. So let's invite each other to go deeper into worship now. Our words of welcome invite you whoever you are and wherever you're coming from. And recently we've been having folks from different small groups in Sanctuary read our words of welcome. And tonight, Lenore and Jennifer from our Anti-Racism for White People small group are going to read our words of welcome, and we invite you to read along at home.
Whether you go to church on Sunday morning,
or light candles on Friday nights,
whether you've been hurt by religion,
saved by it,
or some of both,
whether you're brand new to spiritual community,
or a seasoned seeker,
whoever you are, whatever you are,
wherever you are on your journey, we welcome you.
Let's continue to welcome each other. We're trying out a new experiment. We're always looking for experiments to do here at Sanctuary Boston. So what we'd like to try is a time of greeting your neighbor. Most folks here don't know most folks here. And so we're gonna take just a couple of minutes for Mark David to offer up some music and invite you to share in the chat box a welcome with someone in the community, either share it to everyone, or particularly if there's someone you don't know, but you just want to send them a note to say, welcome, glad to have you with us, how are you? Good to see you again, whatever note you want to send. Let's take a few minutes and do that now and welcome each other into this space.
Thank you, Mark David. My name is Alex Pham, and I'm really glad to be here with you all tonight. The next song that we're going to do is called Resilient by Rising Appalachia. And resilience feels like something that I really need right now. So I'm glad to be singing this song and trying to remember that, we are all resilient, and especially together, we are resilient. The lyrics will be in the chat, so sing along. Oops. I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Let's try that together. I am resilient, I trust the movement, I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. These times are poignant, the winds have shifted, it's all we can backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew, but truth is what I want. Oh, 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 realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Oh, 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 I'm made of thunder, I'm made of lightning, I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust, and this world was made for me, so let's go and try our luck. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. I've got my roots down, down, down deep. So, what are we doing here, and what has been done? What are you gonna do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. But put us all together, we make a mighty roar. Hey! Hey! I am resilient. I am resilient. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. One more time. I am resilient. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen.
For the New Year, 1981, by Denise Levertov. I have a small grain of hope, one small crystal that gleams clear colors out of transparency. I need more. I break off a fragment to send to you. Please take this grain of hope so that mine won't shrink. Please share your fragment so that yours will grow. Only so, by division, will hope increase, like a clump of irises, which will cease to flower unless you distribute the clustered roots, unlikely source, clumsy and earth-covered, of grace.
We rise humbly-hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. We rise. All of the children rise. Elders with wisdom rise. Ancestors surround us, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. And we rise up from the wreckage, rise with tears and with courage, rise fighting for life, rise. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. In hope, in prayer, we find ourselves here. In hope, in prayer, we're right here. We rise, humbly hearted rise, won't be divided, rise, with spirit to guide us, rise.
For calling the spirit back from wandering the earth in its human feet, by Joy Harjo.
Put down that bag of potato chips, that white bread, that bottle of pop. Turn off that cell phone, computer, and remote control. Open the door, then close it behind you.
Take a breath offered by friendly winds. They travel the earth, gathering essences of plants to clean. Give it back with gratitude. If you sing, it will give your spirit lift to fly to the stars' ears and back.
Acknowledge this earth who has cared for you since you were a dream planting itself precisely within your parents' desire. Let your moccasin feet take you to the encampment of the guardians who have known you before time, who will be there after time. They sit before the fire that has been there without time. Let the earth stabilize your post-colonial insecure jitters.
Be respectful of the small insects, birds, and animal people who accompany you. Ask their forgiveness for the harm we humans have brought down upon them. Don't worry, the heart knows the way, though there may be high-rises, interstates, checkpoints, armed soldiers, massacres, wars, and those who will despise you because they despise themselves.
The journey might take you a few hours, a day, a year, a few years, 100, 1,000, or even more. Watch your mind. Without training, it might run away and leave your heart for the immense human feast set by the thieves of time. Do not hold regrets.
When you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. You must clean yourself with cedar, sage, or other healing plant.
Cut the ties you have to failure and shame.
Let go the pain you are holding in your mind, your shoulders, your heart, all the way to your feet. Let go the pain of your ancestors to make way for those who are heading in our direction.
Ask for forgiveness. Call upon the help of those who love you. These helpers take many forms: animal, element, bird, angel, saint, stone, or ancestor.
Call your spirit back. It may be caught in corners and creases of shame, judgment, and human abuse.
You must call in a way that your spirit will want to return. Speak to it as you would to a beloved child.
Welcome your spirit back from its wandering. It may return in pieces, in tatters. Gather them together. They will be happy to be found after being lost so long.
Your spirit will need to sleep a while after it is bathed and given clean clothes.
Now you can have a party. Invite everyone you know who loves and supports you. Keep room for those who have no place else to go.
Make a giveaway. And remember, keep the speeches short.
Then you must do this. Help the next person find their way through the dark.
Our next song is by our own Alex Pham, and this is, among her many talents, is a newfound talent in stop motion video. So she made this in her backyard. Invite you to enjoy.
To think you couldn't see me when I curled up tight. Now I know you see me, so I'm letting in the light. I can love you as you are. You can hold me in your arms. I couldn't see how like glue. Now the dust surrounds me, knowing what I have inside. I feel it in my molecules, that's ready to fly. Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? And when you're away, I know you'll come back soon. When you're away, I'll be waiting for you. When you're away, I know you'll come back soon. I'll be waiting for you. Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? I used to think you couldn't see me when I curled up tight. Now I know you see me, so I'm letting in the light. I couldn't see how I could open up as much as you. The colors of my being seem to stick inside like glue. Now the dust surrounds me, knowing what I have inside. I feel it in my molecules, I'm ready to fly. Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through? Do you see me? I see you. Did you think that I could not see through?
Wow. The Sanctuary Boston Mutual Aid Fund provides financial support to community members in difficult times. The fund is open to anyone connected to Sanctuary facing emergency hardship, needing support for rent, parking tickets, family hardship, or expenses from an illness or mental health crisis. It's designed to be as accessible as possible with no application process and no red tape. The Mutual Aid Fund is a concrete way that we offer Sanctuary to each other. It's a meaningful way to take care of each other at the times when we need it most. And it's one small way that we embody in Sanctuary the world that we're trying to build within and beyond our community. You can donate through PayPal or Venmo, which are listed on your screen and in the chat box. I invite you into a moment of calm as Alex shares a classical piece for violin called Meditation de Thais by Massenet.
There's a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Now is the time in our service when we share the joys and the sorrows on our hearts. We know that in this election week, we are coming with gut-wrenching worries and tender hopes. We first invite you to write any sorrows that you are carrying in the chat box. As sorrows shared, our burdens lightened.
There is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest
And even in the most difficult of times, we come bringing our joy and our gratitude, large and small. We know that the practice of finding joy is a spiritual discipline, even in the hardest of times. And so we invite you now to write any joys you're carrying in the chat box. As joys shared, are joys magnified.
There is a love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
And I invite you to join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of love and connection that takes hold of us and will not let us go. Do not let go of us now. Do not let go of us in times where there are more questions than answers. Do not let go of us when fear grips our heart. Do not let go of us when walls seem so much easier to build than bridges. Do not let go of us, O love, through the death of friends and ancestors, through surgeries, through this time of isolation and loneliness. Do not let go of us amidst the worries of this ongoing pandemic, when we worry for the health of our loved ones. Do not let go of us when we worry for those who are hurting and fearful after the results of yesterday's election. Be present for those who feel threatened and scared. Remind us, Spirit of love and connection, of that love that reaches out, that love that comforts us in times of uncertainty, that love that tears down walls. Remind us that joy and gratitude are a spiritual discipline. May we find joy in birthdays, in chocolate chip cookies delivered from friends, in autumn's glorious transitions, in loving community. May we find joy and gratitude in connections amidst distance. May we find joy and gratitude in inspiring fights for justice, and keep going on. Spirit of love and connection, may we know ourselves to be resilient. May we know that we are the ones we have been waiting for. May we know that we are called, each and every one of us, to embody love in a broken and hurting world. May it be so. Amen.
Make us aware. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary. We're each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew.
My friends, we are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for. So may it be.
Oh, I am waking up to find my world between the dying and being reborn. I see what is and I see what could be. Can't close my eyes again and go back to sleep. So fill my days with blessed unrest nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. How can I change our course? Just a lonely voice. Wish I could lose myself in all the noise. But if we all would rise, a generation proud, then with a mighty song we could turn this world around. So fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. Ancestors all behind, and before me every child. I bring the power of a long unbroken line. So when our time is through, I wanna know we did what we came to do for the future ones. So in our darkest days, may we all be strong and give our lives so light may go on. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning of the tide. Fill my days with blessed unrest, and my nights with dreams of justice. Make me a vessel for the turning